Hi guys, so today we're learning about the law of sines. So let's get started by explaining what the law of sines is. Okay, so with the law of sines, we can use it to find missing parts of different triangles. So whether we're missing angle measures or side lengths, we can use the law of sines to find it, even if they are not right triangles, right? So before we did sine, cosine, tangent, and those are specifically for right triangles. However, with the law of sines, we can use it for any type of triangle. Okay, so here with the law of sines, the lowercase a, b, and c represents the measure of the sides opposite to the angles that are the capital letters, right? So here this is a, so this would be angle A, and across from it is side A, and it's written with a lowercase, all right? Here we have a capital B, across from it is side B, and this is a lowercase b, right? Here is angle C with a capital, across from it is side C with a lowercase c, okay? And what we know is sine of angle A over A is proportional to sine of angle B over side B equals sine of angle C over C. And using these proportions, we can solve for our triangle. Okay, so here we have triangle ABC. So however you want, not to scale, you can just draw a triangle. Okay, triangle ABC. Okay, angle A is 37 degrees. Okay, angle B is 68 degrees, and side A is 3 units long, and we want to find out what B is. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to use our pair to be our first. So I have angle A and sine A, side A. So I'm going to do sine of angle A over A is going to equal to, and since I want to find B, I'm going to do sine of angle B over B. Right, so I'm going to plug in what I know. So sine of A is 37, side A is 3. Equals sine B is 68 over side B. Okay, and then we're going to cross multiply. So this becomes B sine 37 equals to 3 times sine 68. Okay, and then I'm going to enter it all into the calculator at my last part. Okay, so note here I cross multiplied. Okay. Now, to get rid of sine 37, it's being multiplied together, so I'm going to divide by it. Okay. And so B equals 3 times sine of 68 divided by sine of 37. Okay. If you want, you can enter it all in the calculator in one go. If not, okay, you're going to enter it piece by piece. Okay. So here, I'm going to enter it all in one go. So I'm going to put it like this. So that way they know what goes together. I'm going to put parentheses around it. So on top, I'm going to have 3 times sine of 68. I'm going to close the parentheses for my 68 degrees and then close the parentheses for my numerator. Okay. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do sine of 37 and close the parentheses for that 37 degrees. I'm going to hit equal, and that gives me 4.6 approximately, okay? Because here I want to round side measures to the nearest tenth, so 6, next to it is a 2, so it's going to stay as 4.6. So B is approximately 4.6. Okay? If you rounded too early, like if you actually found what sine 68 was ahead of time and everything, your answer might be slightly off. Right? There you go. Okay, so now let's do the next one. So here I again have triangle ABC. Okay, so not to scale, I'm just drawing some random triangle. Right. B is 17, so this is opposite side angle B, so that's 17 here. C is 14. Right. Angle B is 92, and I want to figure out what angle C is. Okay. So here my pair is B, so I'm going to start with sine B over B. And then I want to find angle C, so I'm going to do sine C over C. Okay, fill in what I know, so sine B, so sine of 92 over 17 equals sine, I don't know what angle C is, that's what I'm finding, over the measurement of side C, which is 14. Okay. And then again, I'm going to cross multiply. Okay. So this becomes 17 sine C equals 14 times sine of 92. Okay. Here, since the 17 is being multiplied to the sine C, I'm going to get rid of it by doing the opposite, which is dividing. Okay. So here I have sine C equals 14 sine 92 over 17. Okay. So again, I'm not going to type it into my calculator until all the way in the end because I don't want to round too early and get an answer that is off. Okay. That is less accurate. Okay, so now I still need angle C by itself. So to get rid of the sine, I'm going to do the opposite of sine, which is sine inverse. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Okay, and this leaves me with C equals sine inverse of 14 sine 92 over 17. Okay. So again, it depends how you want to enter it into the calculator, right? You can do it step by step, or you can do it all in one go. If you do it all in one go, you got to make sure that you have the parentheses and everything so that your calculator understands the order of operations that you want it to do it in. Okay, so let's see. I hope it shows. Okay. So I'm going to do sine inverse first. I'm going to enter it all in one go. So that's shift sine or second sine. You can see my sine inverse. And then I'm going to put it as a fraction, so just so that way it knows that the 14 sine 92 goes together. I'm just going to write it in parentheses again. 14 times sine of 92, close the parentheses for the 92 degree sine, close the parentheses for the numerator. Then I'm going to move to the bottom, and that's 17. And I'm going to exit that, and then this is closing the giant parentheses for the sine inverse. Okay, I'm going to hit equal, and then I get approximately, so this is a degree, so I want it to nearest degree. So since it's 55.3, 3 is less than 5, so it's going to stay as 55. So the measure of angle C is 55 degrees. Okay, there you go. Okay, so why don't you try CYP 1A and 1B, and once you're done, come check your answer. Okay, for 1A, you should have gotten 15.3 for the side length of A, and for 1B, angle B should equal 20 degrees. If you got that right, you can move on to our next example. If not, here is your explanation. Okay, so here I drew my triangle, filled in B with 32 degrees, C with 51 degrees, and side C with 12. Okay, I want to find A, so I need to at least know what the angle measure of A is here, right? So since it's a triangle, if these two are 32 and 51, 32, 51 plus whatever A is should equal 180, right? So I just did 180 minus the 32 minus the 51, and I got 97. So angle A is 97. Okay, my complete set is C, so that's why I did sine C, sine 51 over side C, 12, equals sine A, so sine 97 over the unknown side length of A. Okay, cross multiplied, got A sine 51 equals 12 sine 97. Since they're being multiplied, I divided sine 51 on both sides, and that gave me this. Okay, then I plugged it into my calculator, and I got this. Okay, so if you're having difficulty with your calculator, please make sure you email me, and then we can go over how to properly enter in your calculator so you get the right answer. Okay? And then next was 1B. So again, I just filled in with what I know. Side A is 22, side B is 18, and then angle A is 25. We are finding what angle B is. Okay? So my complete set is A's. So that's why I use sine A, 25 over 22, which is the side length of A. equals sine B, which I'm looking for, over the side length of B, which is 18. Okay? And then again, I cross multiplied. Right? So 22 sine B equals 18 times sine 25. Since these are being multiplied, I divided both sides by 22. And that gave me this. Okay? And then, since I want B by itself, I have to get rid of the sine by doing its inverse, which is inverse sine on both sides. And so angle B is sine inverse of all of this. Plugged it into my calculator, and I got 20 degrees. There you go. Okay, so now, moving on to example 2. This time, we're finding everything that we're missing. Okay? So angle A here is 33. Angle B here is 47, and I know that B is 14. Okay, we're going to round angle measures to the nearest degree and side measures to the nearest 10. Okay, so here, I already can find angle C since I have 2 of them, right? So if I did 180 minus 33 minus the 47, this will give me the measure of angle C, right? Because total, they should equal to 180. And this gives me 100 is angle C. Right? So now I have 100 degrees is the measure of angle C. Right? So I'm just going to write that in as something I found. Okay. Then my complete pair is B. So I'm going to be using the sine B and B as most of my stuff here. So sine B, sine 47 over 14 equals, we're going to do sine A, sine of 33 over A. Okay. We're going to do the same thing to find C. So our complete set is B. So sine B over B. So sine 47 over 14 equals sine C, which is 100 over my unknown C. Okay. So then let's cross multiply. This becomes A sine 47 equals 14 times sine 33. Cross multiply. Right. Then, since this is A times sine 47, I'm going to get rid of it by dividing sine 47. Right. And this gives me A is 14 times sine 33 over sine 47. And I'm going to type it into my calculator. And this gives me 10.4. Right? Because side measures are rounded to the nearest tenth. So A is 10.4. Okay, just going to write it here. Okay. Then I'm going to find C. I probably don't want to use sine A and A even though I found it now for this because it's going to be less accurate, right? Because this is also just an approximation. So it's best to use what we've given, the pair that we've given, right? Well, so this becomes C sine 47 equals 14 times sine 100. Since the C is being multiplied to the sine 47 right now, I'm going to divide it to get rid of it. And this will give me C is 14 times sine 100 over sine 47. Then I'm going to enter it into my calculator. And this gives me approximately, so it's 18.85. Because of that 5, it's going to go up to 18.9. And so C, I now know, is approximately 18.9. There you go. Okay. So why don't you try, now let's be doing the next one. Okay, so we're doing the next one here before you try one on your own. Okay, so filling in what I know, so angle C is 98, B is 14, C is 20, Okay, so C is my complete set. Okay, and at least we have one of B, so let's start with that. Okay, so we're going to do sine of C, sine 98 over 20, equals sine of my unknown B over 14. Okay, we're going to cross multiply, so 20 sine B equals 14 times sine 98. Okay. Divide by 20 on both sides, so sine B equals 14 sine 98 divided by 20. Okay. Then I'm going to do sine inverse to get rid of the sine on this side. So the measure of angle B is going to be sine inverse of 14 sine 98 over 20. Okay, I'm going to type that into my calculator. Okay. And that gives me 43.88 blah blah blah. So I'm going to round that to the nearest degree, so that will be 44 degrees. Okay. So angle B now I know is 44 degrees. Okay. So then, since I already know what two of them are, to find angle A, I could do 180 minus 98 minus the 44, and this will give me the measure of angle A. Okay. That gives me 38. So I'm going to fill that in. So measure of angle A is 38 now. And now I have enough to find out what A actually is. Okay, so again, I'm going to use my complete set, which is C. So I'm going to do sine 98 over 20 equals, now I'm just missing A, so sine of A, which is 38, over my unknown A. Cross multiply, so I have A sine 98 equals sine 20, sine 38. Divide both sides by sine 98, so A equals 20 sine 38 over sine 98. Okay, I'm going to type that into my calculator. And that gives me approximately 12.4. So A, I now know, is approximately 12.4. And there you go. Okay, so why don't you try CYP2A on your own, and then once you're done, come check your answer. Okay, you should have gotten that the measure of angle P is 55 degrees, that the side length of Q is approximately 75.3, and the side length of R is 80.3. If you got that right, you can move on to our last example. If not, here is your explanation. Okay, so here I just drew any type of triangle. Okay, it didn't have to be accurate here. Okay, and then I just labeled what I knew. So angle R is 66, angle Q is 59, and then I knew that side P was 72. Okay. Looking at this triangle, the angle was easiest to find since I already had two of them in the triangle. I knew they have to add up to 180. So if I did 180 minus 66 minus 59, that gave me angle P, and that's 55. Okay. Now I have one pair to build off of, right? So then I did sine 55 over 72, right? So sine P over P equals, and then I just started with Q. So sine 59 over my unknown Q. Cross multiplied, that gave me Q sine 55 equals 72 times sine 59. Since these are being multiplied, I divided both sides by sine 55 to get this, typed it in my calculator, and I got 75.3. Okay. Then, to find R, again, I'm going to use my pair that I already have. Okay, you could use the sine 59 and the 75.3, but don't forget, this is an approximation. So if you choose to then use it, you're going to be further and further off your actual thing. So that's why it's best to use the pair that you already have. Okay. So if sine 55 over 72 equals, so this time I want R, so sine 66 over my unknown R. Cross multiplied, r sine 55 equals 72 sine 66. Since this is being multiplied, I got rid of it by dividing it on both sides, which gave me 72 sine 66 over sine 55. Typed it in my calculator, and that gave me 80.3. Okay, so here is our next one. Okay, indirect measurement. Right. So here, when the angle of elevation to the sun is 62 degrees, right? So to the ground, up to the sun, 62 degrees, a telephone pole tilted at an angle of 7 degrees from the vertical. So here's the vertical. It's tilted 7 degrees. So this angle here is 7 degrees. What it does is it casts a 30-foot long shadow. We want to know how long is this pole to the nearest tenth of an inch. Okay? So if this was vertical, it'd be 90 degrees. But now that it's tilted, it is 90 minus 7, which is 83. So now this new triangle, what it is this is still 62. The shadow is still 30 feet. But here, since the pole is not upright, it's leaned 7 degrees this way. 90 minus 7, this is now 83 degrees. Okay? And so we want to find out what this is. Okay? So in order to have a pair, okay, we need this pair at least, because this is the only side length we have. Because we already know 62 and 83, we can do 180 minus 62 minus 83 to get us this unknown angle. Okay? And when we do that, that gives us 35. And so this angle now we know is 35 degrees, and we now have a pair. Okay? So we're going to use this pair to build off of. So sine 35 over 30, that's the side length that goes with it. Since we want to find this one, we're going to use this angle measure because it's the one across from it. Sine 62 over x. Right? We're going to cross multiply. So x sine 35 equals 30 times sine 62. Right? Since this is times sine 35, we're going to divide both sides by sine 35. So then it will be 30 sine 62 over sine 35. Right? I'm going to type it into my calculator. We want to round it to the nearest tenth. So 30 times sine 62 and then divided by sine 35 gives me approximately 46.2. So what is the length of the telephone pole to the nearest tenth of a foot? It's approximately 46.2 feet. And there you go. Okay, so why don't you try CYP3, and then once you're done, come check your answer. Okay, you should have gotten that it's approximately 21.1 miles from one of them and 28.3 miles from the other. Okay, if you got that right, you can get started on your homework. If not, here is your explanation. Okay, so I drew a little picture. Okay, we know that the two radar stations are 35 miles apart from each other. Okay, the first station looking at it creates an angle of 37, whereas the second station looking at it is 54. Okay, so then we want to know how far each station is from that plane. Okay, here, since this is the only side I have, okay, I need to find the other angle so that way I have a pair. Okay, so since it forms a triangle, triangles add up to 180. If I do 180 minus 37 minus 54, that'll give me this missing angle, which is 89. Okay, then I have a pair. So that's why I did sine 89 over the 35 equals, okay, and then I labeled one of them x and one of them y. So sine 37 over x. The other one was the same thing, but this time it would be sine 54 over y. Okay, cross multiplied, okay, to get this and this. And then since sine 89 is multiplying to the x here and sine 89 is multiplying to the y, I just divided by sine 89 on the sides. And that gave me this for x and this for y. Okay. Then I entered it in my calculator and rounded it to the nearest tenth, and these are my two answers. Okay. So that's it for today. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.